For the Interrobang, I'm Jack Sutton. We have a special surprise today. We have two guests, which I haven't done before, so bear with me, but I think it's going to be really interesting. I'll get our guests to introduce themselves for you first. We'll start with you at the end there.
I'm Scott McLachlan, the controller at FSU. Been here for about just a little over a year and a half, and it's been a great time so far.
And my name is Jerry Thomas. I'm the finance coordinator with the FSU. It's been a year with this role, and I love to play soccer. That's pretty much about me. Yeah.
All right. So you may be wondering why I have two money and finance guys here today. So the finance issue of the Interrobang is out. So we're going to talk today about personal finances and budgeting, something that I think a lot of college students can maybe work on a little bit. I know I definitely can. So I'm very eager to learn how to balance my finances a little better. So we'll start with you, Jerry. Let's start with, what are some of the services that the FSU can offer to students to learn more about managing money?
Yeah. So being the finance coordinator, one of the roles is to organize events, which is more about student aspects. So I am organizing. So I've created a series of events, workshops where students can come and take part of it. It's called Lunch and Learn, where they can learn about money, about budgeting. So I've called in RBC Bank to talk about student banking. Then we had financial aid from Fanshow talking about scholarships, bursaries. Then I'm also having another organization called CFI. They're also coming in this month for the Financial Literacy Month, and they're going to speak about more on newcomers' finances in Canada. So that's one way students can engage with. Other than that, I also organize financial bingos where students can take part and learn about finance in general, more about budgeting and savings. And a lot of students don't know about investments as well, so I give a little information on that while playing bingo, and it's more of a fun aspect. And what else? And yes, this year we have started Money Talks video. So we are doing social media aspect where we are reaching out to students on campus, asking them questions about finance, and then if they answer them correctly, they get a $10 gift card. And it's posted online on our website and on social media platforms for other students also to learn about all the questions which is being asked.
Okay, yeah, it sounds kind of fun. Bingo, trivia, learning about money, and maybe making some money.
Yeah.
When do these events take place?
So we have workshops happening every month. So it's a series which happens every month, and then we have money talks happening every bi-weekly. So every 2 weeks we go around. We have our lovely cameraman Brandon. So me and him, we go around on campus. We also reach out to South and Downtown. That's also a key focus for me. A lot of times there are students who really want to learn about finance, but they are not able to come from the other area campuses to the main campus. So I am trying to reach out to their aspects. And I'm also doing financial bingos every month. Each month I'm targeting each campus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So since you took over this role at the FSU, what kind of things have you changed?
Oh, that's a good question. So things, what I've changed is, so I've created a series of workshops. Earlier we had only one workshop per semester. Right now I've created a series of workshops where students can learn about financial aspects, budgeting, savings, then creating. So we also have an online platform on FSU. So if students can go onto our platform, which is fsu.ca/financial literacy, they can get more information about all the financial aspects. So a lot of students have, being a newcomer to Canada, they don't know how to file their taxes, what all documents are required. So I've created a handbook on our website where students can learn. These are the places where these are the information which is required, or these are the documents which is required. And then I also have added some information where students, if they really want to learn how to do their taxes, there are free tax softwares where they can have access to, or if not, we also have free tax clinics in London, um, which is also governed by the Canada government. So students can also have take benefit of that overall. So the lot of changes on the websites, a lot of information which has been updated, which is really helpful for students. Another change is reaching out to the other campuses because one key aspect which was observed last year, we had all the workshops happening on main campus itself, and students from other campuses found it difficult to reach out. So that's where I'm trying to reach out to those campuses, doing events and workshops on those campuses as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, great that you mentioned the website for FSU. Always be sure to check out the FSU website. You'd be surprised the amount of things that they can do to help you out and help you learn new things and deal with all the situations that students might encounter during their time here. Let's turn over here. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you do at the FSU and kind of how you got into that?
So what I do at the FSU is I'm the controller here. So I manage all the finances that come in. So just a large budget, if you want to look at it that way, for the entire organization. So the fees that you pay, we manage those with your health care and with the bus pass, and ensure they're spent appropriately. Spent appropriately. How I got into this position, I actually was a Fanshawe student myself a long time ago. Went to Fanshawe, then went to university, got my accounting designation, and then this job opened up, and I guess it was calling my name, so applied to it, and a year and a half I've been here, so it's been great. But at this organization, I work closely with Jerry. Me and him review checks on a daily basis for the clubs, for anything that comes through. So if you're a club, you'll see my initials next to his. Just working together with the president, ensuring that his agenda is being met, and working close with the other managers here.
All right, so you deal with a pretty big budget then at the FSU.
Fairly big, yeah.
Yeah. So even though it's on a bigger level, I'm sure there's lots of kind of tips and tricks for kind of balancing that budget and making sure that money's going to appropriate places. How can you apply some of those lessons to personal budgeting?
So that's a great question. Like what I'd recommend to any student is use Excel. It's a hell of a tool. The college, I'm pretty sure everyone gets free. As a student, you get free Microsoft. So utilize that through the college, because college fees you pay through that. You pay that through that. So utilize all the resources through that. But download Excel, input your income, input your expense on a daily basis, or a monthly basis, should I say, and then see what you have, if you have a surplus or a deficit at the end of the month. I know a lot of students will probably have a deficit. I did when I was credit cards were my best friend. It sucks being a student right now, and I feel it's a hard environment, but that's the best way to go about it, and ensure if you can push your income up a little more by doing whatever you need, or if you do have a surplus, investing that in, like Jerry said, into investments, like so that maybe you can generate a little revenue or a little income down the road to help offset your future deficits. So
Yeah, I think that, I feel like for a lot of students, budgeting can be hard because a lot of people in school are working, hourly jobs. And it's kind of hard to anticipate how much money you're going to be taking home each paycheck unless you have like a really stable schedule. How can students plan for those, less consistent paychecks?
that's a tough question. I was lucky. I had a credit card. I don't emphasize that, but when you have no money in the bank, that's the best to have not a high limit credit card, but $1,000 just in case. But I don't. It's Jerry
go
might
for
be
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry might be able to answer that.
So, moreover, if you're looking for paycheck to paycheck, so there's a rule called 50, 30, and 20, which is really helpful for students. I personally use that, but in a different ratio. It's more about speaking 50% to your needs, 30% to your wants, and then 20% to savings. It's always good to have an emergency bucket. Whenever you're getting your paychecks, keep that 20% in a savings account, which can generate from the interest itself any revenue. So if in case you know this, there's a difference in the paychecks which you're receiving, you have a bucket where if you have any emergencies, you can always pull out money from. So yeah, so that's one key aspect of having a 50, 30, and 20 rule. Apart from that, we also have on our website, we have budgeting tools. Like Excel is a really great tool. I personally use that. But we also have a lot of other tools on our website where students can go and check out, and it's a very simple and really easy tool which can support them. Other than that, it is also part of my role. If any student really feels they need any budgeting advice or support, I'm there to support them. If not, Scott's always there. If you want to speak.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of bursaries and sponsorships that go, like people that have 0 people apply for them on a regular basis. So, and nowadays there's websites that have consolidated this information. So I would suggest looking at that, because that's a great tool to help increase your income level and build emergency, like Jerry mentioned, build an emergency fund for when the hours, or you have exam week and you can't pick up those 20 hours because you want to study and ensure that your grades stay so you can get a full-time job after school. So I'd recommend that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's so important. Like with bursaries, Fanshawe literally wants to give you money, but you have to apply for it. I always set a reminder for every semester when the bursary deadline is coming, because it is free money if you apply and you get it. The worst they'll say is, no, sorry, you don't qualify. It's super easy, and there's so many, right?
Like even check your car insurance companies. Like my personal car insurance company has a bursary on their website, and when I was talking with the salesman, they said they've had in the 10 years 2 people apply for it, and they've granted it. Like there's a lot of companies that do that, so you'd be amazed. Google is a hell of a weapon for looking for that too.
Yeah, right. There's definitely lots of opportunities out there to get like a little bit of extra money to help you out, but it just requires searching for it. Which, yeah, and that works out well because, like you said, not many people apply. So if you find something, there's a good chance that you might get it. So when you're talking about budgeting with your, was it 50, 30, 20? Yes, math. So you kind of talked about like your needs, and then, your wants and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So let's kind of think about what is a need versus what is a want. Because I think some people have trouble kind of differentiating the two. I do. Sometimes it's like, do I need this sweater? Yes, I need it because I want it. I need it because I want it. I want it, so I need it. So what kind of things would you consider needs?
It's a good question. So I can speak more of being an international student, what revolves around for me as needs and wants. So for me, the needs would be so adjusting my money towards the rent. That's definitely something. Then if I want to have my groceries, so I have a budgeted that I would only spend this much amount for my groceries. That's a need for me. But apart from that, if it's like a wants, so it's more like I heard somewhere like if you're really going, how do I put it? So if you're going for grocery shopping, go when your stomach is full, but not go when you're empty stomach, because then you'll try to buy everything. If you just need the basic necessities, that's good enough. But then when you're going empty stomach, you'll tend to buy all the things which are not needed for you and not nutritionally rich for you. So yeah. Speaking on my aspect, I would say rent is a good need for me, where I need to invest. Groceries, that's another investment for me. One suggestion I would recommend for students who are coming in first year, a lot of students buy a car or get a car itself. It's a really big financial strain because I have seen personally a lot of students coming towards the second year, they are not able to pay off the fees, or they are not able to make their rent properly. So those are more into the wants bucket, or maybe if you are just going I have also kept a budget that if I really want to go out on weekends with friends, so this is a budget for me for a month. So every weekend if I'm going out, or maybe a bi-weekly if I'm going out, I would spend this much. But a lot of students would just go out on every weekend, going out, having parties or going to clubs, which again it's more into wants and less into needs. But I would still recommend going out and enjoying, because that's your student life.
Yeah.
Enjoy your life and experience, but have a budget and have a pre-mindset. Okay, this is what you're going to spend onto that for this particular month. Speaking on domestic, maybe Scott can have more light on it.
So I just want to emphasize, at the FSU, I think we do a good job helping with some of the needs, lowering the cost. So every student here has a bus pass, so you do not have to worry about transportation costs. It's a great deal. It's 230.
87.
Yes. No. Yes. Thank you. It's a great deal. You'll never find a better deal in town here. Because if you were to go by a monthly basis, or I think it's a weekly basis, you have to buy the tickets. It's substantially higher. We also have health insurance here through the FSU for all students. They can opt out if you have your own, but we limit, and it's a really good deal. That's only 237. I know that number. And it's a great deal, and it allows the students not to have to worry about if they get sick, how they're going to pay for drugs, and how they're going to get to school, how they're going to get to work. So, as Jerry emphasized, the big needs that they have to worry about are housing and living under a roof and food. And then when it comes to food, I know when I was living as a student, I was cheap with Costco. I know you have to pay for a membership, but you can buy stuff in bulk. Buying stuff in bulk reduces costs significantly. You can save money that way. Free stuff. I come from the country, so I had a tendency to free stuff. Also couponing and downloading apps to help see sales and price matching if the store allows it, because that will significantly reduce your cost of fruit, the cost of meat, if you can find competitors that will price match. So,
Do you have any recommendations for apps that people can use to find deals?
I use Reeby for my apps to read I forget what it's called now, the paper. They also have coupons, but you can quickly search. So my family loves strawberries. We quickly search. We find a store that has it. We go to a superstore. We say, here it is. You're allowed to match up to 4 of that product and reduce the cost to that. We do that on a regular basis. Usually saves us on strawberries anywhere between $1 to $2. So you're doubling your purchasing power right there. The LTC app is a good one to check for buses. But yeah, like Jerry says, like if you don't need a car, we have a great infrastructure here in London. Well, right now all the roads are ripped up. We did, and we will. But Jerry can attest more to that. I think he gets stuck in the traffic. But they have a great app. But I emphasizing with Jerry is, like, if you don't need a car, don't get let me rephrase. If you do need a car, I would try to find a nice, cheap, reliable car. Don't go full out on it. And if possible, like, shop around for your insurance. Because a student's insurance, being under 25, it's quite expensive. So shop around and find the best rates, because insurance is a killer, and I remember that as being under 25. The day you turn 25, it'll drop significantly. I guarantee that.
Speaking on apps, I can recommend few. I personally use Flip. It's one of the apps which you can find all the flyers of all the grocery stores or anything which you're looking for. It's a really good tool. So they have updated their version down, so you can create a list of items. You can add it into your cart, and then you can check, okay, I want to go to No Frills or maybe Food Basics. They give 10% discount on Tuesdays for all students, so I can just visit there and grab whatever items I require for that particular day. Another app which has recently launched, it's called Too Good to Go. I'm not sure a lot of students have heard about it. So it's more like you get. So there's Tim Hortons. There are a few really good restaurants on the application which are near to close to downtown, and whatever produce or whatever food they have left during the end of the day, it's almost 50% or 80% cheaper, and you can just go onto the app and you can reserve your spot and you can just go to that location, get that food, and it's really good. I've done that a lot of times. If I want to grab a lunch or just breakfast, I can easily just go onto the application and check. Um, Other than that, we also have student deals. So I would recommend a lot of students to check out all the student deals. We have, I forgot the name. Yeah. So we have a lot of student deals on our website as well, so students can check it out. If they really want to go out to, I don't know, H&M or Under Armour or any place they really want to look for discounts, they can check through that applications.
Yeah, no, your student card especially can get you like so many discounts, but they're not always advertised very well, I find. What do you think is kind of the biggest drain on students' finances that maybe they can not spend so much money on? Like for me, for example, it's definitely Uber and Uber Eats. I Uber to school way more than I should because it's just convenient. I want to sleep in. Right now I'm here at 6:30 a.m., so it's, bus at that time is just not fun. And Uber Eats, like I love convenience. I just love ordering things, and it just really racks up in expenses. So what do you think are some other kind of drains on finances for students?
Good question. Will you be able to answer?
One. So one drain on finances, as I've had a conversation with Jerry the past week, is actually students not filing the taxes. If you don't file your taxes, you're not eligible to receive credits. All students should, or I don't want to talk broadly, but should be getting an HST credit back for purchases. They should be getting a green rebate. I forget the exact name. This is money that you have purchased. You is a refund from your purchases you made, and you don't get any of it until you file taxes. So I know a lot of students might not even work during school and say, why should I? Well, filing taxes is zero taxes. There's free apps to do that, and you get tax credits for your education as well. So ensuring that's done is one of the most important things you can do, because you're leaving that money on the table to help offset some expenses. As you mentioned, I know when I was a student, it was the biggest thing for me was like going out to the bars, as Jerry mentioned. You want to experience that, so I don't know if I was good or great or bad about it, but it was a large expense, and could you reduce it? Probably. And I was managing in my budget as an accountant. I had created one. Sometimes I go over, but then you have to look at, are you going to buy that sweater this month because you went out to the bar an extra time than you predicted because your friend had that birthday that said, come on, let's go. You're like, okay, I don't have an exam, so maybe you don't get that sweater this month, and you push it down, or maybe if you really want it, you have to find saving somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely. It's a give and take, right? I mean, we can't have everything we want every month, even though we live in a world where marketing tells us we can have everything we want. So one other thing I wanted to touch on today was, and you mentioned earlier credit cards and how that can be beneficial. But debt in general can be kind of a scary thing. A lot of students are starting off their adult life, possibly tens of thousands of dollars in debt from student loans, and credit cards that may seem like a good idea. Bad decisions can quickly change that from a beneficial backup to just a weight on your ankle. So what do you think students should know before they take on debt? What should they know about debt?
Answer if you want. Compound interest is a hell of a thing. So if you don't pay it off on a regular basis, it can become a lot of money. So ensuring you have a plan. I talked about it earlier, but I always had a plan to pay it off, right? Like you're gonna even as you grow older and get jobs and houses, you're gonna run into months of deficits. You're gonna have childcare. You're gonna have a roof that needs fixing, a furnace that needs fixing. So it's a useful tool. That is a useful tool to help you buy houses, to help you buy cars. But it's also, there's ratios out there that you can look online. Banks look at them. Is the debt to income ratio, and that allows you certain, I forget the exact numbers, but the banks want to see certain debt to income ratios. Looking at your credit score to monitor your debt as well, that's an important thing. Too many people don't monitor their credit card, the credit, and sometimes nowadays with everything being on apps, it gets compromised pretty easily, and then that can screw up your debt and screw up a lot of things in life. But monitoring it is really important. Also, just paying on time. Like with credit cards, you don't have to pay the full amount if you can't afford it, but paying the monthly minimum is so important. So important. So ensuring that tool is utilized properly is very important. But debt can be like, I don't look at school debt as debt per se, because I look at it as a positive debt. I know that's a weird kind of term, but it allows you to generate income. It allows you, without it, a lot of people won't be getting the good paying jobs out there. So like, it's a needed necessity. It also in the future the money you invest gets applied against your income you make, so you do get some tax credits for it. I used that and applied it right to my loans so that I could pay it down quicker. But I was lucky. It was just me and my girlfriend at the time, so we didn't have kids, and there's other people in circumstances, but just having a plan to pay off the debt and working towards it, and working in the budget, and when stuff comes up, using those tools that are necessary, and then working towards paying it off again, and then hopefully one day you will be debt free.
Yeah,
that's the hope.
Yeah, for everyone.
I know I'm not right now, so
Me neither.
I'm 20 years away from that. So.
Yep. Yeah, I find even with debt too, it's you miss a few payments and you might not think it's that big a deal, but even like a few $100s can be a big expense when you have all your other expenses to deal with to get back on track. So I think it's easy to fall into that spiral. Um, but yeah, I think we'll leave it there for today because there's so much more that we could talk about with budgeting. But I hope that you learned something today, or even just maybe you were reminded of something that you have been meaning to do. Thank you to our guests. Thanks for joining us. It was great to hear some expert opinions. So yeah, you can check out more episodes of the Red Couch podcast wherever you typically get your podcasts. Keep an eye out for our finance edition of the Interrobang in all of the spots around campus where you find that. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed the show today. For the Interrobang, I'm Jack Sutton.